Hi guys, my name is Sandy Esprit and I am back with another Vlogmas video, and as always I always seem to forget to set up my mirror, but here we are. It is Vlogmas number 13, I want to say 13 or 12. I'm losing track, guys. I probably should do better than this time around. But as always, please take a moment, subscribe down below, press that red box, and click that bell. That is your notification bell, and it's going to let you know every time I come out with a new video. If you are enjoying this series so far, you're welcome. But thank you so much for tuning in once more. Today is a little something different. It's wash day. So I figured, well, you've seen my hair wash routine. How about I show you guys how I set my hair for the week? Now this is gonna be, again, a little different because I'm gonna be talking about also setting boundaries with that toxic family member. If you're blessed that you don't have a toxic family member, consider yourself blessed. We are far and few in between, but I personally have had encounters with a family member, and that is toxic. And one of the things for sure is that during the holidays, during family events, you never know, sometimes that does come up. Now I know that a lot of people, you probably heard it before, just get over it, or just laugh about it, or don't forgive. That's a big thing that I hear, especially for those of us who grew up in church. Just forgive and everything will be fine. Just because you forgive doesn't necessarily mean you forget. And so I completely understand how certain issues and certain triggers, some people just trigger you with their presence, and I completely understand that. Some people trigger you with their words. They come up to you and act like nothing happened. So anyways, let's get into it. So first things first, just to let you guys know, my hair is freshly washed. And y'all, my hair has been through the ringer. But my curls, the fact that I can see my curls again just blesses my heart. I'm just so excited, guys, that my hair is actually behaving like my hair. It was touch and go for a minute. It was touch and go. So I'm going to use the TGIN leave-in green tea super moist leave-in conditioner and the silicone free. This is the Shea Moisture Silicone Free Miracle Styler Leave-In Treatment. So I really love this guy, and this is kind of cool. I'm trying to I like it, but it's not the best thing I've ever used in my life. But it is. I like the fact that it doesn't have any silicone in it, so it does the job that I need it to do for the time being, and then I can just move on with my life. Oh, my hair is so soft. I see curls. I see life. I'm happy. So happy. So just to give you a little background for me. Ooh, it's still parted. Awesome. What I'm gonna do for my hair is just two French braids, Dutch braids, cornrows, flat braids. There are so many names for them, so I'm just gonna do two of them down the side of my hair, and to set it so that I am just good to go. Oh, I can hear my daughter coming in. Okay, so I am back. Now I am going to part my hair into two parts and get started on this little chat situation that we got going on. So yeah, toxic family members. This year may be a bit different, considering that most of us will not be together for the holidays. So for some of us, this is actually going to be a blessing in disguise. For others, because we are living with that toxic family member, it's going to be really, really hard. Especially when that person knows exactly how to get on your nerves. Now, just a background story for most of you that may not know me. I grew up without my father, grew up in a single parent home, and I grew up being the eldest of many children, and so many of those children on my father's side, I know some of them, but it's not like we have a super close relationship, and there are others where I am closer to them just because of geographical location. And you know what? After a while, it is really exhausting to try to keep up and figure out how many siblings you got, but that's a different story for a different day. So definitely we've had some work. I've had to do some work on myself for sure in order to be a better human being, and just to not treat people based on what I saw growing up, which is really, really hard to do. And now that I am a mother to 2 girls, I find that those experiences really is like a double-edged sword, because there are certain things that I get to watch, like with my husband being this amazing father to their children, to his children, and certain things I'm like, man, I'm so grateful that they get to have that, and not necessarily what I went through. And then there are other things when I'm like, man, like, like, I wish I had that growing up. Not like in a jealous way, but in a, man, like, I'm blessed, so blessed to see this happen to them. But at the same time, just like, man, like, I wonder what I would have been like, or what my life could have been like had I had a father, the kind of father I see my husband be to his daughter. Gotta detangle, always gotta detangle. Not like a wild person, but like, it's just good to detangle. I had already detangled, so I know for the most part, my hair is going to be ready and I won't have that much issues. So quick story time. Recently, I saw my father at my wedding, my brother's wedding. I had not seen him physically in over 7 years, and I had not spoken to him in over 5 years. Text might have been 2 years. And so I got married roughly 5 years ago, and lo and behold, he showed up to both my brother's wedding, but not mine. And this is after years of him saying he would do stuff, but was just never available. And as a young child, when you're constantly used to being let down, it causes heartbreak at a very early age. And it's the kind of heartbreak that I don't believe any child should experience from an adult, an authority figure, especially if you are in position, you got the health and the well-being to show up for your children. I mean, I'm sorry, but you're absolute trash if you're that kind of parent. If the only excuses you have are those that literally make no sense, you need to check yourself. God did not place 2 parents in a child's life for it to be, for one to constantly break the heart of that child, and the other to constantly pick up the pieces and trying to make the best of a really crappy situation. Children are people too, with emotions and feelings, that grow up to being adults who now have issues and now have to figure out how to pick up pieces and make the best out of life. So also big shout out to parents who are making the effort to work on themselves after going through such trauma and really emotional abuse at the hands of your parents. And now you are as an adult seeking help, healing, in order to be the best parent or the best adult you can be, not just for yourself, but for your children as well. So big shout out to you guys, because it is not an easy thing to do. It really isn't. And so at times we find ourselves just really trying our best to make sense of what's taken place and to just pick up whatever pieces that we can and keep it moving. Some of us have our faith, our religion, our relationship with God to fall back on, and thank goodness for that. Thank God for his grace and his mercy. Like I really should have been another statistic, but I'm not, and I'm grateful to God for that. Not every one of my siblings is that lucky, and so I'm really, really grateful to God for that. But it still sucks and it still hurts. I just realized I did not even use any of this. I literally did this whole thing and didn't use this thing. And I don't even know if I want to take this out, because this braid actually looks kind of bomb. I don't, you know what? I'm going to just use one leave-in. Because we don't need to go through all of that again. Usually my hair does pretty well. This is going to be a protective style anyways. It's going to be like wrapped up, stayed wrapped up, and I'm not. I ain't doing nothing with my hair this week. It's going to stay like this. So let's move on to the next part. So I know I said that this was going to be about avoiding, you know, family members, toxic family members. And I think the number one thing is setting boundaries. You need to set boundaries for yourself. If you have children, you need to set boundaries for your kids. The abuse needs to stop right where it started. Like, just, if it started in the past, it stays in the past. And it also allows you to free yourself from their hold. And it's easier. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. It's easier said than done, okay? Like, don't even get me started on the work you're gonna have to do. There's gonna be a lot of hurtful emotions that you might have to go through all over again. Certain memories you're gonna have to revisit. I know that recently I had to have that conversation. My husband was like really, really understanding, and you know, he really was asking questions, trying to understand. And at some point I really started getting like defensive because I wasn't, I was getting annoyed. Like, how could you not understand? And mind you, he grew up with his father in his life. And so I just didn't, it was one of those things I had to check myself and be like, oh, this isn't, like, my life wasn't normal. Being promised one thing and never seeing it come through, and seeing that pattern from childhood all the way to adulthood is not normal. A parent doesn't act that way. So it makes sense that he wouldn't understand that. But yeah, so boundaries. Set your boundaries. That's number one. If you want to deal with a toxic family member, boundaries, make sure you set them. They won't always respect them. And when they don't, you kind of have to treat them like a child and reset that boundary. You don't need to get loud. You really don't. Sometimes it's as simple as avoiding them. And sometimes your tone of voice will put them in check. And that's what I had to do. Without being rude or disrespectful, because of course my children were there. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like he got a proper introduction as to who my children were. And it is what it is. I gotta protect my children from that kind of heartbreak, from you know, that. But boundaries had to be set, and they were very loud, such as this is where it stops. And there were many instances, many times when, you know, it was a proper time to show up. This isn't it. So that's one, boundaries. Second thing is honesty. And you have to be honest with yourself. That's the part that requires the most vulnerability. Vulnerability for yourself, vulnerability to feel. You need to allow yourself to feel. And it sucks, it hurts, and it's okay. It's supposed to hurt. You gotta be honest with yourself so that you can set the proper boundaries, you know? And number 3, I would say, I know I'm keeping it really short because like, well, one, my braid's almost done. And I really don't have all the answers because I'm still doing and dealing with this. I'm not a professional, licensed professional, but that's really number 3, is to understand that you don't have all the answers, and trying to understand it is not gonna make it better, because there is absolutely no reason why. No logical explanation could ever make it make sense or take the pain away. It hurts, it sucks. People treat others like trash. And when they're miserable, they bring other people along with them. And it sucks. My mom told me, she's like, some people have a spirit on them that just wants to, they just want to embarrass you, and they just want to make you feel miserable because they're miserable themselves. And I completely agree with that. Using my scrunchie, my BMAS scrunchie with that satin lace. I love the fact that it's satin lace, because then I know it's not going to hurt my hair. And do my mini ponytail. Kind of look a little cute. Oh, ponytail. And that is it for setting my hair. So that's my chat. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. I know I went on and on. It sounds more like a rant than anything, but I'm sure, I know I'm not the only one who's dealt with this. And so please comment below if you have any advice for me or anybody like me. By all means, let me drop it in the comment below. And if you have a similar story, like, listen, let's connect, let's chat, and let's build each other up, because this winter, this holiday season is going to be a little rough. And so I think we're going to need our community to build each other up now more than ever. Thank you so much for checking me out. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'm on Instagram, Pinterest. I got a blog, www.iamsandyespree.com. I'm even on TikTok. And yeah,